Daytona Super Speedway, where legends have been created. Legends are born, and new grudges come out. Who will make friends? Who will make enemies? And who will take home a podium finish? Live tonight, it's Daytona Super Speedway. Who will make it to the checkered flag? And who will fall victim to the destruction at Daytona?
Biffle, Marlin, Carl Edwards, Casey Mears all crashed on the final lap.
Coming to you live tonight at Daytona Super Speedway. It's the Group 6 Cup Series. We are live.
Fall is around the corner, and the Group 6 Series heads south for the winter. This is Daytona. This is the Beastmode 200. This is the Group 6 Cup Series. Welcome one and all to Daytona International Speedway. As always, my name is Hunter Foley, and I'm up here in the booth with my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith. Welcome to what is sure to be an amazing night of racing here at Daytona for the Beastmode 200, as this is these drivers' last chance at a playoff run. Before we get into what is sure to be an exciting night of racing, first of all, thank you very much to everyone for joining us tonight here on Doghouse Racing TV. We appreciate it, and the drivers appreciate it. Let's make sure that we thank all of our wonderful sponsors who keep us up here in the booth and keep these drivers going around the track. As it has been all season, special shout out to Group 6 for being our series sponsor for the year. Group 6 is a leading creative agency, and they are passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance their online presence. Explore the wide range of services they offer at Group 6 Inc., GROUP, the number 6, INC.com, and see how they can drive your digital success. Special thanks to Group 6 once again for being our series sponsor this year. And as you all may have heard, we've got a familiar name as our race sponsor here tonight. It is Team Beast Mode. If you want to see Team Beast Mode out on the track, be sure you don't miss a single race here on Doghouse Racing TV for all the action, including some of your favorite drivers, including Kevin Thompson, Nicholas Atwood, Gary Clune, Andrew St. Cyr, and unfortunately not joining us tonight, but you will also see Andrew Gardner. So special shout out to Team Beast Mode for stepping up and being our race sponsor for such an exciting race like Daytona. It is sure to be a wonderful night, and thank you once again to them. Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series is also very proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared, legendary breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. We are also very proud in the Group 6 Cup Series and the Doghouse Racing League to be sponsored by Butt Kicker. If you want to take your sim racing experience to the next level, be sure to head on over to their website at thebuttkicker.com to check out the very best in racing haptics. You can pick up anything on their website today. You can help support the brand and take your racing experience to the next level. You will not be sorry. Once again, thank you to Butt Kicker for being a longtime friend and sponsor of the Doghouse Racing League. As mentioned before as well, thank you to everyone for being here with us tonight for Daytona. It's sure to be a packed and exciting field as these guys are trying to get into the playoffs here. Be sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't had a chance to yet. Help support the channel and make sure you won't miss a second of all the playoff action that is just right around the corner for you. And be loud in the comments, cheering on your drivers. I know a lot of these guys love to go back and watch these streams, hear their friends and family cheering them on. We've already got HEO in the comments. Here we go, Daytona. BMAC, as always, in the comments. I'm so excited. Been waiting for Daytona all week. Sorry that Adam could not be there. You'll be missed. Love watching Team BMP showing their skills. Have a great race. Andrew, Gary, Nick, and Kevin. And cheers to all the moms watching. It would not be a Group 6 Cup Series broadcast or a Doghouse Racing broadcast if we didn't have a lovely comment to read from BMAC right at the very beginning. But with that said, these drivers are getting out there, trying to finish up their practice before we get into qualifying. So as per usual here, let me go ahead and shut my yap and turn it over to my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, so we can talk Daytona. John, it's all yours.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here. Made it through a whole season with the Doghouse Racing League here, coming to the final race of the season, trying to get into the playoffs. They're going to take the top 20 after tonight to the playoffs and let them duke it out there for a few rounds, but they've been through all the short tracks and all the left and right hand turns of the road courses, and now we finally made it back here to Daytona, where this man Gary Clune that you're seeing on your screen took the first checkered flag of the season earlier this year at Daytona. This whole beast mode team has been dominant at Daytona. I don't expect anything less from them tonight. Coming in kind of with a chip on their shoulder, knowing what they can do, knowing how they run. They work really well together. But other than that, let's pull up some weather for you so you can see what it's going to be like here tonight at Daytona. Got a good old 2.48 mile track. It's going to be about 83 degrees out there today. Not a lot of wind, so it's not going to play a lot into their performance here, but I mean, that track temp not going to be a factor too. But we did talk to Andrew St. Cyr last week, who said the high line probably was not going to be the move. You got to qualify, get out front, stay down low, and that's where all the momentum and the pace is going to come from. So look for that BMP team and Andrew St. Cyr to be leading that charge here tonight in front of the back.
And one of the big things about Daytona is really how you're able to work together, not only as a team, but finding out who your friends and who your enemies are early on, who will go with you for that draft, who's going to try to kind of pave their own way. Daytona's so reliant on making sure that you're in the draft and have good partners that know kind of when to give you that little bump, know when to back off a little bit, and there's just really no other way to find yourself in victory lane. I know we've seen some people in the past have success. You're able to kind of get to that top line, work a little side draft action, and maybe get yourself a couple of spots, but it's just not sustainable over the course of the whole race. So I do expect to see big things out of Team BMP and the other teams out here tonight, but also got to take into consideration the tear that Mr. Jamie Horne has been on. I mean, it just seems, whether we go to road courses, whether we go to short tracks, I know super speedways haven't traditionally been his most favorite thing in the world, but at the rate he's been winning this year, can you really discount him?
No, not a bit. I mean, he knows how to get out there and win. He's been winning a lot, but he did tell us last week the pressure was kind of off with the lead that he has coming into tonight. So, I mean, he doesn't have to win. I think he's kind of got this in the bag, but I don't think you're going to tell somebody that is a winner not to win. You know, he's going to go out there and still compete and still try to be up front. So I'm looking for him to be up front tonight. A lot of names in here tonight for this lobby that we have coming into Daytona. Few that I haven't seen in quite a while. Some I don't recognize, but coming out to the track first for their first lap of qualifying is a fan favorite. Here in Tony Martin repping that blue 2 per usual. Had that scheme for quite a while. Pretty easy to pick up on the blue 2 there. That's Tony Martin coming around. Also out in the track, I got Bill Gentry in that 4 car. The Auto Pros performance car. They sponsored our truck series earlier this year for the Doghouse Racing League. So special thanks to what they do and all the other supporting sponsors of the league.
Yeah, and Bill Gentry's one to watch out for too. I've seen Bill Gentry really seem like he's kind of been on a tear this back half of the year. I mean, he's been having to deal with a lot. He's been balancing, doing race control as well. I know we were without our fearless leader in Daniel Wilkerson there for a while, but he's back in action now as well, so Bill can focus entirely on the racing, and been seeing him run really, really well here recently. So excited to see what he's able to put out there on the track. Like you said, gotta have a big turnout for a race like Daytona, so you got some names in here that maybe you haven't seen in the Doghouse Racing League in a while, or maybe some names you've never seen before, guys that are just trying to get into the league and maybe be able to race a full year next year. But either way, going to be a really exciting night. I mean, get a big crowd at Daytona. What more can you ask for? What can you say, or what's your opinion on kind of what these drivers should go for tonight in terms of, are you going to try to get out front, stay out front, manage whatever sort of big long green flag runs we might have, or is this going to be more of a sit back at the back and wait and see what happens?
Oh, well, funny you should ask. What a great time to pull up our keys to the race for tonight. You can see here in your bottom right corner, keys to the race tonight that I got for you. Number one, for sure. Again, not neglected is to work together. You're going to have to find a good teammate out there and stick together. We saw these BMP guys all year at these big super speedway tracks group up, even at Atlanta, just group up and kind of take over the entire course as they went on. You're going to find friends that you never really talked to or whatever, but they're going to help you draft and push up to the front. And also for pitting, you want to make sure you're on the same cycle as them so you can stay in that draft. If you lose the draft here, you are pretty much done. We'll try to bring this up just a little bit bigger here for you. Another big tip tonight is going to be keep the fenders on it. If you don't have a good clean car, you're going to be losing speed left and right. These cars are sometimes made of glass, other times made like a brick, so you don't really know what you're going to get here tonight. The last one, I'm going back to our very own Mr. St. Cour. Run the low side. He knows best here, and he said that low side was the way to go. The high side doesn't play anymore since this update with new car, but that might be keys for tonight, is to stay low and block that passing lane.
100%. And I think that's going to be one of the things that you're really going to start noticing as the race goes on as well, especially as we start getting toward the end of this race. Maybe people have been on older tires, we definitely expect to see a lot of really long green flag runs here in the Doghouse Racing League and Group 6 Cup Series. So you never know what you're going to be dealing with towards the end of a race. And you have to consider, these guys are going to be trying to block. They're going to be trying to change lanes. They're going to be trying to open up that third lane. In the middle, guys are running high and low. You got to avoid the big one, too. It always seems like it happens at Daytona. This is one of the cleanest leagues you will watch. But at the same time, it's Daytona. These guys are going fast and trying to make the playoffs. It's for sure going to happen.
Yeah, and sometimes you can kind of get a little aggressive a little too early. And then other times you have races that it just seems like you're riding around for 100 or so laps and then finally make a move there at the end. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to be tonight. Some new names. I know these guys usually race well together, but with some new crowd in here, not sure how it's going to go. Normally I'm the kind of guy that likes to stay back and just Sunday cruise for every single lap until like the last 5, and then we'll push it at the very end. But you can't win it on the first lap. You got to keep the fenders on it to make it home.
100%. We are seeing these guys start to wind down in the qualifying here. Qualifying time just ended, and it looks like we are going to have BMP, very appropriately being the race sponsor, be 1, 2, 3, and 4 starting out this race. So setting up that storyline for Team BMP having a really dominant performance here at Daytona, working so well as a team as they do. Qualifying 1 through 4 is a pretty daggone good start to that, I would say. But just some details about the race as we get into our final warm-up time. It's going to be about 5 minutes, then we're going to get into the race. We are doing 80 laps here at Daytona tonight. We're going to have stage breaks on lap 20 and lap 40, as per usual in the Doghouse Racing League and Group 6 Cup Series. Those will not be flagged stage breaks. It will just be for points. And again, this is the final race before playoffs, so you can definitely expect to see these guys really running hard to get better positions as we go into those end of stages, especially because there is bonus points for every position 1 through 10. So it doesn't matter whether you're racing for the lead or you're trying to break your way into the top 10, there's still bonus points there for you. I definitely expect to see these guys out here burning it down, trying to get there. Either way, going to be a great night of racing. Got Sandra Horne in the comments. Thanks from one of the moms. Come on, Jamie, number 98. Definitely expect to see Jamie Horne here have a great performance here tonight, as he has done so well all season. And then Kathy Trush in the comments. Team Trush, number 23. Thanks from another mom. Have a great race, Brandon. Brandon Trush looking like he's going to be in the 11th qualifying position here tonight. Once again, you make friends out here at Daytona. You're able to stay in that draft. You're able to avoid any of the trouble that can inevitably happen here at Daytona. I mean, you can go from 11th place to 1st in the time it takes to get around this track one time.
Yeah, you could definitely make some moves pretty quick here, just depending on who's running where. I think a big thing too you have to watch out for is people trying to jump out of line a little too early and seeing who's going to go with them or not. It's almost like you got to time it up perfectly with the guy behind you, and hopefully they go with you, or if the guy in front of you goes, you try to go with him. But people trying to make passes out here, especially in the second pack or third, if there is a third pack, usually just going to slow the cars down. We also talked to some guys too from the league that were talking about how 2 cars or 3 cars doesn't really do it anymore with the draft. You really have to have about 3 to 4, maybe 5 cars behind each other to get good momentum and good pushes. As you can see, Mike Leftwich, Chris Simon, and I believe that is Kevin Thompson there in the 6th car, all working together to get around Richard Leclerc in that 117.
Yeah, kind of like you were just saying as well, like if you're not going to be one of those cars that is, out in front early, really at the front pack, kind of fighting for those top 5 or 6 spots, you really have to make sure you actually use a lot of patience as you go around this track. I can't tell you how many times when we've been up here in the booth where we've seen guys that are in the second pack, they're 7, 8 seconds back from the leader, and it's a pack of 3 or 4 cars, and they're trying to jump out of line, they're trying to make passes. That is not the time to pass. You have to kind of understand where you are on the track and what you can do to move forward, and the quickest way to do that is to work together. So, like you said, definitely being patient, waiting for your moment, and making sure you're in the right spot at the right time is going to be huge to this race.
Absolutely. We have about 1 minute left in not qualifying, but warm-ups here for this warm-up session. I'm still trying to make some adjustments to some sound quality here, and so you guys can hear the race more than you can hear us talking, because we all know what you're here for. But while you're here, make sure you drop a comment. Let us know who your favorite driver is, who you're going for tonight. I definitely have who I think might take the checkered flag here tonight. We want to do the picks now. Sorry, I was on mute on my talk that night. Do you want to do the picks now, Hunter? For the race winner?
I think we can go ahead. Yeah, sure. Why not?
And it's the last race of the season. You got to go 1, 2, 3.
Last race of the season, 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go. I'm going to go BMP for my top 2. I think the top 2 are going to actually stay exactly the way they started. And the reason I'm doing that, and it's not because I'm being cheap. Kevin Thompson was able to get ahead of Andrew St. Cyr twice during the season during Atlanta. I think Andrew St. Cyr gets his get back tonight, finishes the race in 1st. I think Kevin Thompson finishes in 2nd. I think Jamie Horne finishes in 3rd.
All right. Everybody at home, make sure you write it down. I've told you before, and I mean it. He'll change it right at the very end. I also really like Andrew St. Cyr up there at the front, but I think if it comes down to it, I really like Gary Clune pulling it off 2 times here at Daytona. I think that would be really cool to see. He's done it before. He can definitely do it again. I kind of like Andrew St. Clair just because the fact he has a little bit more to fight for, as I will pull up this current point standings for you right now before we start getting too gridded up here, so you can see where your drivers are currently sitting. And I mean, it's kind of, Jamie Horne's got it. I don't think that St. Clair has enough to really pull it off, but I mean, it could happen from a point standings. Either way, both of those guys are definitely locked into the playoffs there. And I'll leave it up just for a second longer, since this is a 2.5 mile track. We do have a little bit of time to kind of stay and play a little bit. Yeah, St. Clair coming in 148 points behind. I don't think a win here would do anything for him to move up. Kevin Thompson in 3rd place behind Andrew St. Clair. Not by a lot, though. Well, he's actually 121. I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong value. Eric Warman 8 points behind Kevin Thompson there. And Justin McMahon 54 points in 5th place behind Eric Warman. Gary Clune in 6th place, another BMP guy. Chris Simon in 7th. He won the preseason race here at Daytona. First race of the season that was not for points, actually. He would have got some nice points there. Josh Cully, our drive from the back to the front guy, he's in 8th place. Zachary Miller 9th, moving up 2 spots from last week, and Adam Thompson shuffling down 2 spots. But good to see Adam back out there tonight. And while we're sitting here, we'll go ahead and look at our grid and see how these guys are going to line up tonight. Take it away.
Well, as mentioned before, we have BMP from 1 to 4 here tonight. Andrew St. Clair takes the pole position here tonight at Daytona for the Beastmode 200. Kevin Thompson's going to be starting alongside him in 2nd. Gary Clune starting in 3rd place. Nicholas Atwood qualifying in 4th tonight. Newcomer to the league, or at least a name I haven't seen in a while, Kevin Hash is going to be starting 5th here tonight. Joe McKnight starting 6th. Ray Rittenauer the 2nd. Running really strong this season. Newcomer to the league this year, starting 7th. Your current points leader and dominant this season, Mr. Jamie Horne, starting in 8th. Joshua Hart starting in 9th. Fearless leader Daniel Wilkerson starting in 10th. Brandon Trush, with Mama Trush at home watching, starting in 11th. Mike Leftwich starting 12th. Bill Gentry starting in 13th. Zachary Miller starting 14th. Ryan Lloyd is going to be taking 15th position tonight. Brandon Lopez is going to be starting 16th. Tony Martin is going to be starting in 17th position. Michael Dow is in 18th. Stephen Bonomo 19. Mark Dumont 20. Richard Leclerc 21. And with that, that will bring an end to the drivers that put down a qualifying time, except for Christopher Melton, who looks like he took a little bit slower around the track for qualifying, but he did put down a qualifying time. Going to be starting 22nd. Then we're going to have Zach Michael, Eric Warman, and Chris Leftwich following them up. And then after that is going to be Adam Thompson, Justin McMahon, and Chris Simon.
Trying to keep up and jump around with these cars out here. Don't want to make anybody dizzy. And I believe Justin McMahon is running that 3 car there. That might be our fault. He raced in a race with us the night for fun, and I raced the 3 car, but pace car is off. We are about to get racing here for the last race of the season with Doghouse Racing. We are going green. BMP with a Blue Angels type jump.
Yeah, like you said at the beginning, I definitely expect to see really big moves out of Team BMP tonight. And, I mean, just to be in the qualifying spot that they are, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, what a huge advantage for them. And everyone else behind them is trying to figure out their next moves and where they are going to go on the track. Already seen a huge push after that first pack down to the bottom side. That 3 car of Justin McMahon flew up from the back. Oh, we have cars bouncing around at the back. Big check up there. Like Eric Warman was trying to jump out to the high side, had to check up just a little bit. I think he got into the 21 of Chris Simon. Might have dinged in that front end, but I don't think there's going to be too much damage there. And look at Team BMP down on the low side. like we were talking about before the race, a lot of guys thinking that the low side is going to be the way to go tonight. And I think we're seeing that early. Just no heat behind that top line right now.
And I do have a number change here for Ray Rittenauer the second, switching to that number 87. Ray's been running a few races with us here in this league, and then actually I think he's been here the past 6 or 7 races. Been doing a pretty good job. They're pretty good at Watkins Glen.
Don't look now. I know we don't have our typical drive from the back guy in Josh Cully here with us tonight. But Justin McMahon was back there starting at the back of the pack, and look at where he is now.
Ooh, Bill Gentry with a big jump to the outside to lead that line in front of Jamie Horne, Justin McMahon, Joe McKnight, Daniel Wilkerson there on the high side. Brandon Lopez in that Taco Bell 3 car running the outside. And it looks like Brandon Trush is going to try to join him up there.
Yeah, we're seeing some guys try to make that high line work, but it just seems like it loses all that momentum so quickly. You see Brandon Trush go out there, try to make something happen. We saw Justin McMahon go up to the high side as well. I mean, you just see that top lane kind of compress back in on itself so quickly. And they're just not really able to get any momentum to move their way up toward that front pack. I mean, at this point we have, I believe that's going to be your top 12 down there on the bottom of the track. How often do you see that at Daytona?
Man, with these new cars, these next-gen cars, and the way people talk about them, I'm not surprised with anything I see anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, I will say the new ARCA cars they do have out, I've learned that there's such thing as too much drafting. Those cars, if you get in the draft, it will suck you right in behind somebody, and like you have to let off, especially here at Daytona. But not letting off a bit. Nick Atwood up there all over the bumper of Kevin Thompson. His teammate also got St. Cour behind him, and it named another teammate in Kerry Clune in 4th place.
Yeah, and then right behind them, you've got the 03 machine of Kevin Hash. Newcomer to the league, or at least a name I haven't heard in a while, but run that slick teal blue car. And we've talked about it before, we're suckers for a good paint job here. That one's cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing him at Watkins Glen, not last race, but the race before that, I believe. Last race at Richmond, Jamie Horne picking up that one, also picking up Watkins Glen as well. But I remember seeing that car out there making right-hand turns.
Not our favorite thing to do, by far. I mean, us up here in the booth, but I know a lot of people thoroughly enjoy it, so congratulations to them on being more talented than we are. But, I mean, look at this track right now. I mean, everyone is running that bottom line. You've got 4 cars stacked up on the high side. I believe that's going to be Steve Bonomo. That's going to be Brandon Lopez. That's the number 4 car up there as well of Bill Gentry, and then Justin McMahon, who we saw move through the field so quickly, and now they're having to go down to the bottom side of the track to get any speed. I mean, there's just nothing up there tonight.
Yeah, pretty much getting very single file out here right now as it goes, and I'm seeing a lot of sparks flying. I'm sure you could probably see them. Oh, we have a caution out.
Flag. Looks like it is for Justin McMahon.
That front nose is dented in pretty hard.
It looks like he was trying to get back down to the bottom of the track. And I think the 83 of Chris Leftwich surprised him a little bit, and he tried to get back up out of trouble and ended up spinning out and going off the wall, and he's definitely going to have to deal with some damage.
See if we can get you that replay pulled up. Oh, that is net code if I've ever seen it. Wow.
It did make a little bit of contact there, but don't think it was enough to have that happen. So definitely can see where there's some net code in that as well.
It looked like
Baker Knapp in the comments as well. Let's go. Going to be a great race and a great broadcast. Thank you, Baker.
it looked like the contact happened after McMahon was already kind of going left. Like it looked like the net code got him turned around a little bit, but I'm not sure. That's weird. It's kind of weird to like just snap loose like that here at Daytona. It makes me think that. Could be
some funny air back of Bill Gentry as well. You saw Bill go to the high side kind of quickly there as well. And we've talked about that before as well, how the air coming off of these cars, especially at super speedways, can just play havoc on these cars, which is dangerous, especially when you're at a track that's so dependent on drafting.
We do have just about everybody bringing it in. Daytona, not a tire race whatsoever. This is going to be a fuel race. I wouldn't dare do it, but you could probably go the full race without taking tires. As long as you stay in the draft, you will be somewhat okay, but those tires will give you a little bit of advantage. You just saw Gary Clune overshoot his pit box there just a little bit, so he's going to lose his teammates up there at the front. Tony Martin coming out of that pit stop in 8th place. Here comes Gary Clune in 9th, and Mike Leftwich coming out there 10th, with Michael Dow right behind him. Let's go back to that wreck just one more time here so we can kind of talk about this arrow that you're going to be seeing here tonight. So you're going to see a lot of these drivers try to stay to the inside of the bumper, just like Justin McMahon on your screen, and that 3 car is doing now to Bill Gentry. He wants to have his nose just a little bit to the left of the car in front of him. That's going to help him stay pretty free as he's getting around these corners. The moment he moves up to the right behind it, where his nose is behind the car, that car is going to tighten up a lot of aero block there. But the fact that he's turning down like that, yeah, it looked like some net code initially just got him to turn. I think that's very unfortunate for Justin McMahon.
100%. But it looks like as we are all bringing it out of the pits here, looking like we're probably going to have a little bit of a shuffle here with the positions, but nothing too crazy. I think my my results might be a little slow in updating for me here, because I do see a couple cars in front of Kevin Thompson's there. I'm still showing him as in late there and updated. So as we come back to the green flag here, Brandon Trush is going to take the green flag as your race leader here. Up from 11th, Christopher Milton is going to be in 2nd place alongside him. Up from 22nd to 2nd place. Then behind him, you're going to see a little bit more of the same in Andrew St. Cyr, Nicholas Atwood. Kevin Thompson starting 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ray Rittenauer, the 2nd, is going to be restarting 6th. Kevin Hash in 7th. Tony Martin in 8th. Gary Clune in 9th, having lost a couple positions on that pit stop. As you heard John mention, overshot his pit box just a little bit. And Mike Leftwich going to be starting in 10th place on this restart here on lap 10 of 80 here in the Beastmode 200 here at Daytona. 10 laps away from our first stage break for points. I gotta think that's in the back of Brandon Trush's mind.
Yeah, he's trying to get as many points as he could possibly get here. I'm trying to calculate up if it's possible for him to make a playoff run tonight. Me doing math in my head at this hour is not good. A win here might get him in, but that's a lot of points, about 100 points out of making the playoffs.
And unlike some other leagues as well, you do get points for leading a lap in the Group 6 Cup Series Doghouse Racing League. Just like you also get bonus points for being in the lead when there is a stage break, but you do not get any points for individual laps led. All you get is the points for leading a lap in general. So I know every point counts, but for Brandon Trush, unfortunately, whether he leads this lap here on lap 10 or leads it all the way until the end, the only other bonus points he would get would be the stages. But we're cinching it back in here. Lap 11 is going to be underway as we cross this restart zone. The green flag is in the air, and Brandon Trush is in the lead. What a jump for him.
Automatically, people are just jumping down to the bottom side, leaving Chris Melton out there to dry on that high side. You'll see him fall back pretty soon here, I believe, once this bottom line starts pushing. And Brandon Trush got a great pusher behind him in St. Cour, trying to get him to the front there. Yeah, I was just looking at the stats on Brandon Trush. Missing the playoffs right now, not by performance, but because he joined the league just a little late. He has raced 6 races in the Doghouse Racing League. He's picked up 5 top 10s and 2 top 5s in that same time period. So definitely a quality driver. Excited to have him part of the Doghouse Racing League and looking forward to see what he can do as he stays along with us and keeps running.
Well, Brandon's definitely going to be one to watch out for next season. I mean, to come into a new league, drivers you don't know, drivers you've never raced around and have the success that he's had. Really big shout out to him. I mean, he's had a great run here over the last couple weeks. Run into some bad luck here and there, but other than that, I mean, got a lot to say good about the guy. Races really safe, drives hard, makes good decisions, and is also a shameless self-plug, longtime customer of Nap Daddy Racing.
Yeah, I tried to check in with Danny the drone cam there in turns 1 and 2, and I guess he's out on a hot dog break or something because he was just having a good old time in the infield.
He just saw some guy take his shirt off and was waving around his head like a helicopter, and he just got distracted.
Yeah, he's grabbing the wrong content for us, but we'll try to get him back in a good spot later on this race. But meanwhile, we are back double file racing right now. Tony Martin all over the bumper of Chris Melton, that 52 car. Adam Thompson sticking behind saying, please don't wreck. Got to keep that blue car clean there.
And I was gonna say, toward the very start of this run, what a move by Tony Martin there to get low.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I was gonna say is it seemed like the high side had a little bit more heat. I mean, I saw Adam Thompson come flying in there on that high side. He really came flying in quick, and like, the high side might have figured something out, but right back to exactly what we were seeing before.
Big checkup back here. Right in the back. I'm not sure what happened. It checked up from Adam Thompson back to Eric Warman, back to that 34 car, Zach Michael. According up Joe McKnight, and I believe at the time that was Justin McMahon behind him. I feel really bad because on our Nap Daddy Racing TikTok page, we do 30-minute designs on Tuesday nights and create a brand new car to race in the Doghouse Racing League for the Tuesday night league. So every week we have a different car. Just a little fun challenge to make in 30 minutes. But I'm realizing how hard it is for the broadcaster to pick up on that, because I'm seeing the 34 out there and then Justin McMahon's. I'm like, whose car is that? So now I need to write an apology letter.
Look at the run on the high side.
Wow, what a move.
Jamie Horne giving a huge push to the 51 machine of Joe McKnight. That's the most success we've seen anybody have on the high side so far tonight.
And Jamie's a good pusher too. You'll find there's a lot of guys out here and they'll probably ask each other, you rather be pushed or you rather do the pushing. Some people can take a bump a little bit better and some people are better at behind. I think I'm just bad at all of it. It's actually something teams that I'm pretty sure Beastmode has practiced this, but you tell the person behind you to bump you pretty hard and then bump harder, and just to see how much you can take and how the car is going to handle under a bump. This is a virtual simulator, so it's not like we're wrecking $110,000 cars here. So we have the luxury of doing that in practice.
So I know I heard you mention earlier that Daytona is not a tires track. Can you explain that for anyone at home on why, on a track that has, very steep banking, you're racing really fast, very hard, how can this not be a tire wear track?
Yeah, so there's a setup you can do to your car, and you actually have a little bit on your home personal car, or your daily personal car, I should say, at home. called camber and some form of caster at least. But camber is pretty much your wheels, how far they tilt in towards the engine or away, the top side tipping towards the engine or away from the engine. Caster is more how much further forward it sits or back it sits. So we can set these cambers on the car, and the whole goal is to make it so there's as much tire contact with the pavement as you're going around. This is a pretty flat track, pretty open track as well. You don't have to cut the wheels super hard. The banking does most of the work, so they can kind of not have as much of an aggressive camber here to let all that tire get as much contact with the pavement. Makes the tire heat up evenly across the whole thing.
Back in the back.
Got a yellow flag out, looking for that now.
That was Mark Dumont and Brandon Lopez. There was a checkup back towards the back of the pack.
Had a lot of people go off track there. Ray Rittenauer, Richard Leclerc. See if we can cut back to that. Oh. Yeah, I am confused on that one.
And then the checkup that
we're gonna hop on
also
board with Ray Rittenauer here.
I was gonna say, good lord, there was another checkup toward the front of the pack, and I just saw Ray Rittenauer check up like a BMX bike.
Whoa. And see, that's a great example. I'm glad we have a cockpit view, because initially you look at that and you're like, wow, why did he jump back on the track? He had 2 tires on the ground at one point there. He had no control over that car. That was a very good job for him to get off the track and save it, not cause a bigger accident. That's actually very impressive the way he handled that.
Yeah,
Kind of want to see that again.
The suspension in these cars, I want to see what that looked like from the outside of the car. These cars do not have a lot of suspension. They're meant to stay on the ground and go fast. They are not meant to go flying. Actually, just heard Ray Rittenauer come over the radio and say, I don't know what I hit in the infield, but I think I went 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, both those back wheels jumping off the ground there. I believe it was right when he got to the grass. There it is. Jumped it.
You know, he would have gotten like 500 points for that in, remember ATV Off-Road?
Oh my gosh. That was iconic there, actually. I just got to see it again.
I'm wondering how his car is going to be after that, but if that's not a moment you can put on your Instagram, I really don't know what is.
Camera cannot catch it right there. I'm just having too much fun with this now, man. This is... He is literally in the air, all 4 tires off the ground.
Yep.
And we'll go back one more time. Sorry for about this. And then that was just very impressive. You don't see that a lot. Trying to cut back to Mark Dumont getting inside the wall there with Brandon Lopez. Wow, sorry for such a long replay, but I mean, you don't see that every day, you know?
You do not see that every day, and it was very unfortunate for Ray, obviously, but fun to watch. Do have a lot of our drivers bringing it down pit road, taking advantage of the yellow flag there. We're going to get things back shuffled into place, and then we will be back underway. It is looking like, due to the caution flag here, believe Andrew St. Cor is going to take home our lap 20 stage bonus points. So congratulations to him. Other drivers getting points there are going to be Nick Atwood in second, Kevin Thompson in third, Gary Clune in fourth, Brandon Trush in fifth, Jamie Horne in sixth, Justin McMahon in seventh, Stephen Bonomo in eighth, Zachary Miller in ninth, and Chris Leftwich in 10th.
Justin McMahon has drove it from the back to the front, went all the way back, and now back up to the front again.
Just a very exciting night for Justin here tonight.
Yeah, definitely getting his passes in. They do get a stat on passing. For every pass you make, you get a stat. And he is racking them up here tonight. I think that was a trivia question for us a few weeks back about who had the most quality pass. I'll have to check in a second here to see who's taking that over. But Justin McMahon definitely give him a run. But just to finish off that thought from before, the caution flag, these cars are keeping as much tire on the pavement and keeping that even spread. So when the tires heat up, they get a little bit bigger. They can also wear off a little bit easier too there, but it's not going to wear as much. And plus you have to think with the draft too, the different types of air coming in between hot air and cold air can kind of help cool these tires off just a little bit. They try to do what they call sealing these cars on the bottom, but that diffuser kind of takes it out of the equation on these next gen cars out the back. You don't really have to seal them anymore like that. And pretty much
right back. Oh, go ahead.
Any setup here will fly too. I know this is an open setup league, but I think you can go out here and run a base setup, and your draft might be a little bit different, your main speed, but once you get in the draft and stay there, you're probably pretty set.
Team BMP is going to be trying to be the ones that are set here once we get back underway. I believe the pace car is going to be pulling off on this lap. We are back underway. Andrew St. Cor takes the green flag here, gets out to a really good jump. Kevin Thompson, Nick Atwood, and Gary Clune following right behind him. We've got a little bit of movement there on that high side, though.
Somebody is sliding back here.
We are wrecking again.
I think it is Ray Rittenauer, possibly. Or no, that was before. I do have Mark Dumont that is in the infield. I'm not sure if he's there from last time. Joe McKnight trailing along back here as well. Let's see if we can go back to that caution flag and see what happened here. I'll try to make this one quicker. Hopefully all four tires stay on the ground.
Saw Kevin Hash sliding around as well.
I believe this is going to be further up towards Chris Simon. Oh no, that was the 2 car. Tony Martin and Ray Rittenauer getting each other. Mike Leftwich into the back of Rittenauer. Adam Thompson getting involved in it. Chris Simon trying to avoid the whole thing is going to get into the wall. You see Kevin Hash, the 03 on the bottom. Richard Leclerc in that 117 trying to dodge. Sliding through, cutting the grass, hitting the cone.
Unfortunately, I believe for Adam Thompson and Tony Martin, that's going to be a lot of damage that they're going to have to deal with.
Another thing to point out here, too, is you see Daniel Wilkerson taking the inside here and Bill Gentry and seeing the sparks fly, tearing up that splitter a little bit. Here is a big downforce track. You want to keep that splitter good and clean up there. It's going to help actually create a little bit more downforce for you. But it can definitely get torn up and bent that way. And if it does, you're going to really, really notice an impact, especially in the corners and especially in the draft. And man, if you get me going, we can talk about the physics all night long.
Well, we'll see if we get any comments here looking for a physics lesson.
I got a video in my back pocket for you.
Well, go ahead and show us then.
Yeah, we still got 2 to go. Let's see if we can pull it up here while we're waiting.
While he's doing that, just once again want to shout out Everybody that's out there watching us, spending some of your Thursday evening with us, we appreciate it. Drivers appreciate it. 18 people out here watching us right now, so thank you so much.
Pull up this drafting video here. As you can see, it's cars by themselves, how that air comes into that front of the bumper there and goes across and kind of creates a pocket in the back. But when we pull up behind somebody, instead of creating that low pressure behind that front car, it almost acts as there's two cars with only one car. Now that pressure is decreased behind that front car, able the back car to pull up just a little bit more to the front car, and that's how the drafting is going to work here tonight. That's going to be the goal for these guys, to get into that space. But it all comes down to pressures on the bottom of the car, on the top of the car, creating drag, especially off that back spoiler there, if we can pull it up. That spoiler is actually going to create a little bit more drag for these cars and slow them down a little bit, but they're up so high here at the super speedway. You can see it's like plexiglass almost, to add on just a little bit. If you can get underneath that, your front bumper, it's going to go over the top of your car as well. Andrew St. Cour is talking about you need 4 or 5 guys, and you can form a train of essentially one car, all pushing the leader there.
John Thompson in the comments saying, "Come on, Kevin, do a Blaney." As we get back here, get ready to go back to green. The standings in your top 10 is going to be Andrew St. Cour is going to once again be leading this race. Kevin Thompson going to be starting in second. Brandon Trush going to be restarting in third. Nicholas Atwood restarting fourth. Jamie Horne in fifth. Gary Clune in sixth. Justin McMahon in seventh. Stephen Bonomo going to be restarting in eighth. Zachary Miller in ninth, and Chris Milton in 10th. We've seen consistently on these restarts, these guys are trying to get that high lane going. It looks like right at the beginning of when they restart, they're able to kind of hang on for about a lap or two. But it just seems like over time, if we go any more than 5 or 6 laps on a green flag run, the high side just loses all of its momentum and quickly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why that is. I know we measured it out before, and I believe if you're measuring just the wall there, it's about 2.48. Actually, it's 2.51, I think, at the wall. Middle of the track is 2.48 miles all the way around, but if you stay there on that bottom yellow line, you're actually saving about 0.04 to 0.06 miles per lap. So that's definitely the shorter line to take. Problem is, there is a ramp as you come out of turn 2 and turn 4. See if we can hop on here with Kevin Thompson to see what he's seeing as he's making his way around here. And another thing a lot of people don't take into account too, this seam that you see right in the middle of your screen, a lot of tracks can get you a little bit loose there. Usually that's kind of what you want, especially tracks like Texas. You want to ride that seam. Here it might not work, but there's a little ramp right here on the high side. You can kind of see it dips down. So you do get a little boost of speed coming out if you are running the high side, but definitely takes longer to get around.
I think when we noticed it before, Daytona was one of the longest tracks to get around, at least when you're on the high lane. That is not a concern for Andrew St. Cour as we are back under green flag racing here, lap 26 of the Beastmode 200 here at the Group 6 Cup Series at Daytona International Speedway. He tries to go up to the high side, trying to latch onto his teammate Kevin Thompson, Nick Atwood, Gary Clune. They're all trying to get up there in the high lane and work together. We'll see if they're able to make that work. Because right now at the bottom of the track, you have Brandon Trush with a huge push from behind there. And that's going to be the number 98 of Jamie Horne.
And if you're Brandon Trush, Jamie Horne, Justin McMahon, Zach Miller there, you kind of have to have a common goal. We're going to do the same thing BMP's doing. They're doing it so well for the past few super speedways. It's time to kind of hop on that theory, hop on that train and do the same thing. And another thing that I would be trying to do, which you can say what you want about me, I'm trying to split team BMP up. I want to get in between those guys, make sure they cannot work together. That would be my entire goal. Maybe not this early, but especially later on in the run.
I think it's going to be almost necessary if you want to be a non-BMP driver and actually finish this thing, especially since, like we talked about, I mean, they work together as a team. We got a lot of teams here in the Group 6 Cup Series. They work together almost better than any other team that I can think of, including right now, they're making the high side work.
Oh, Nick Atwood comes down on Brandon Trush just a little bit there. I believe he was trying to side draft coming out of turn 4. Did it successfully in turn 3.
He was clear, but Brandon Trush still there blocking. And I know we talked about, you know, patience being a key to this race as well. But at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to kind of get in between teammates that work together so well. I think you have to take it, and we see that happen right there. Andrew St. Cyr able to get out in front. He's able to pull away. I think his teammates were trying to follow along behind him, but Brandon Trush and Jamie Horne were able to get their noses in there. And now the rest of Team BMP stuck up there on the high side. Well, you have Andrew St. Cyr leading the parade at the bottom of Brandon Trush, Jamie Horne, and Justin McMahon.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what we were just talking about. What you got to do is split those guys up, stay on that low side, and maintain that low side. I mean, I believe Andrew St. Cyr, when he said, oh, look at this. Kevin Thompson got flushed out to the high side there. It looks like Atwood's going to slow him down. I believe Atwood slowed down a little bit, let his teammate back in.
Yeah, really good teammate work there. We're seeing things start to shuffle a little bit now. They're taking advantage of that kind of split of the teammates. Brandon Trush, Jamie Horne, Justin McMahon all go to the high side. They are now going to be in front of all of Team BMP. They're going to try to get back out front and take the lead. Huge push out of Jamie Horne. Like you said, Jamie Horne, known to be a great drafter here, and he's able to push Brandon Trush. Brandon Trush isn't going to be able to take the lead back away from Andrew St. Cyr here. When you still got Jamie Horne and Justin McMahon up there blocking the rest of Team BMP from being able to get back up to their teammate.
And I just saw my messages right now. I got one from Mr. Justin McMahon himself saying that he refreshed his paint late. We will make a trading paints refresh here under the next caution if there is one, so that his correct car, I know he wants to have that Group 6 car reflected up there. I'm afraid if I do it now, it might mess up everything we got going on, so. Trading paints takes a lot out of the computer to refresh all these paints, but we will definitely do that under caution. We definitely want to have that Group 6 car out there.
100%. Very interesting to see. And, you know, of course, broadcaster's curse, as I'm about to say, it looks like that high side kind of lost a little bit of that momentum right there. But I think, and it's got to be partially or in whole due to the fact that we just have cars working together so well up there on the high side. But the high side has been able to hang with those low side guys way better this green flag run than they have on the previous.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do there with Justin McMahon and Jamie Horne working so well. I've raced with these guys before. Those guys are fantastic pushers. It looks like...
Oh, Justin McMahon's around. Oh, half of Team BMP is wrecked out now. We've still got cars sliding around. Oh my goodness, what a turn this race has taken.
I was just about to say, it looks like McMahon got loose again there.
Cars are sliding every which way. This is a huge wrench in how the rest of this race is going to go.
That is crazy. Let's kind of back it up here with Justin McMahon. Wow. And this is Kevin Hash and Ray Rittenauer just kind of running back here behind. Running up on the incident. Kevin Hash tries to slow it down. I don't believe Rittenauer is getting it down. He's getting it down in time. That's the second incident Chris Simon has been right there around, so he's had some bad luck going his way tonight too, able to avoid both of them without too much incident.
Very curious to see how much damage those Team BMP guys have to deal with. We saw Andrew St. Cyr was not involved in that caution, also go down pit road with his teammates. I wonder if they've got a manageable level of damage and they're able to get back out on the track quickly. But was that from a push, just a push in the wrong spot, or Justin just getting loose? I wasn't quite able to tell.
I'm not either, to be honest, man. I want to see who was pitting really quick here. All four or three of those BMP guys involved in that accident. And you can see all three of them right behind Andrew St. Cyr have some damage there they're trying to work on.
Yeah, Andrew was able to come down pit road with the rest of his teammates there. I think they're trying to figure out where all that started, who's responsible. I heard someone say, I think someone zigged when they should have zagged, but I would love, before we end up gridding this thing back up, I'd love to go back to that and see the outsides of the cars one more time.
Trying to ride along here with Kevin Thompson. From Kevin Thompson's view, man, like, he did not make contact there. If we back up and go to Justin McMahon's view, it clearly looks like he took a hit somewhere. So we jump in with Justin McMahon again. I mean, it looked like he got bumped in the back there. But there was
Show
no
the outside of the cars one more time, because, again, like you're saying, I don't see any contact, at least looking from the outsides of the cars. But when you look at the insides of the cars, I mean, the way Justin McMahon spins, it looks like, I mean, he just got straight up turned, but Kevin Thompson didn't touch him.
That is crazy. That's Kevin Thompson's tool down there on pit road.
As we're going to get things gridded back up here, it's going to be Braden Trush once again out in front of this race, going to be taking the restart in first place. Jamie Horne starting second. Eric Warren restarting in third. Mike Leftwich in fourth. Stephen Bonomo in fifth. Chris Melton going to be restarting sixth. Zachary Miller seventh. Michael Dow eighth. Brandon Lopez ninth. And Joshua Hart going to be restarting in 10th. We have 26 cars out there on the lead lap currently. Tony Martin going to be 11 laps down in 27th. And has called himself out of the race, as has Mark Dumont.
Yeah, throwing up those keys one more time in the bottom corner of your screen. That was kind of what we talked about tonight. Got to keep it clean to make it to the end here. There's going to be accidents, and you just kind of hope you're not involved in it. It's very unfortunate for the Team BMP guys there.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought that, the Team BMP teamwork was going to be probably the major key to this race. Was probably what was going to take one of them to victory lane and probably have the other two in the top five. But now going to be very interesting to see how they're able to adjust to kind of this new reality of this race, as they're going to be kind of coming in from the back now. You got Andrew St. Cornby restarting in 24th, Gary Clune 25th, Kevin Thompson catching up to the back of the pack in 26th. So they are going to still all be on the lead lap, but have a long way to go. Brandon Trush does not have a long way to go. It's a short drive to the line there, and he is going to restart lap 36 here in the Beastmode 200 in first place. Big jump for him on that low side. Jamie Horne restarted on the outside there, and he is going to have to try to get a push there to catch back up. That low side has been so dominant tonight. Only a few have been able to make that high side work. And Brandon Trush, Eric Warman, and Mike Leftwich are going to get off to a really good restart down there on the low side. Stephen Bonomo coming in there as well, looking like he's going to try to go to the high side. Catch that lead draft. Get pushed from Jamie Horne.
Yeah, and I know nobody's surprised by this, but Eric Warman right now, your biggest mover of the night, up 23 spots, sitting in P2 right now.
I know for a pretty good portion of this race, it was Justin McMahon who started in 26th and was up there fighting for the lead. Unfortunately, he's been involved in 2 of the cautions tonight, so he's got a lot of ground to make up. It looked like Andrew St. Cor and Gary Clune from Team BMP, as well as Nicholas Atwood, were able to kind of cinch back up to the pack and are going to still really be in the running here on this new green flag run. Unfortunately for Justin McMahon and Kevin Thompson, not off to the restart that they wanted. Kevin Thompson is going to be the only one of Team BMP that ended up going a lap down because of that caution. And Justin McMahon, I'm sure, dealing with some damage on that car that still needs to be repaired. But look at the high side up front working again. Jamie Horne able to one-man train it with Stephen Bonomo and get up there, and they're going to take the lead. They're even going to have enough room to get Christopher Melton in there.
There goes Jamie Horne. Cutting
all
through
the way
grass.
to the bottom of the track.
Able to get it back. Oh, man, that's unfortunate. He's going to fall back a lot and lose that draft.
He's going to completely lose the draft there. His only hope now is going to be Justin McMahon and Kevin Thompson, who are still behind him.
Yeah, that was just an accordion-style push there.
That's the other thing about the draft at Daytona. You got to be able to handle the draft.
Yeah, it looked like Chris Melton tried to drop down to that bottom line, and when he did, overshot just a little bit on his way back up to get back in line. Clipped the back bumper of Jamie Horne, so that's going to set Jamie Horne back just a little bit. Probably going to lose the draft.
Was it Chris Melton that caught him just a little bit?
It was, just on the backside.
Brandon Trush goes up to the high side. He's going to try to get that high lane going again. See if he's able to make it work as well as Jamie Horne and Stephen Bonomo were. He's going to be trying to get a push from Brandon Lopez.
Yeah, they're got to group up just a little bit tighter than that. They want to catch that front pack or that low side.
Yes, seems like the only way we've really seen that high lane work is if you are on the bumper of the next guy.
See Joe McKnight flashing in and out a little bit in that 51 car right behind Richard Leclerc. 32 car and Joshua Hart in front of him.
And we just did pass our lap 40 stage break. Not really a break, more just a bonus points. And that is going to go to the number 9 machine of Stephen Bonomo. Congratulations to him for picking up those bonus points. Everyone else in the top 10 also going to pick up some bonus points there.
Yeah, Stephen
Bonomo going to be your big winner there.
Yeah, he's sitting in 14th place in the points right now, 18 points behind the next guy in front of him, Adam Gardner. Adam Gardner not here tonight, so Steven might jump up just a little bit in the points. And he's fighting for that next spot, the 12th place spot, with Mike Leftwich, who is probably, oh my gosh, math right now, 36, about 46 points in front of Steve Bonomo.
One other thing to take a note of as well, for the first time tonight, it seems like we have kind of our two packs going. Ray Rittenhauer going to be in 17th place. He's going to be the last car you see on that lead pack. And then you are going to have to go back about 3.5 seconds to get to that small little second pack, which is going to be made up of Nicholas Atwood, Andrew St. Cord. That is going to be Gary Clune as well riding with them. And they're going to have the 34 of Zach Michael hooked in with them as well. They're all going to be about 7 seconds off the lead. Your third pack is going to be Bill Gentry. It's going to be Daniel Wilkerson. And it's going to be Jamie Horne. On the back, a little bit further back, just hanging on for dear life, is where you're going to see Justin McMahon, 22 seconds off the pace. Currently running at 25th, and he's going to be running with Kevin Thompson. Again, the only Team BMP driver that went a lap down because of that last incident. Him and Justin McMahon are going to be sitting back there in 25th and 26th. And that is the last two places on our leaderboard currently.
Yeah, and you can see Kevin Thompson not able to pull it to the bumper. Just McMahon as well. We talked about the splitter earlier tonight. You can see it's folded up, bent up just a little bit on the front of Kevin Thompson's car. And going back to the physics side, because this is a very physics-based track, that's going to put air underneath the car, create lift, and it turns out the car doesn't go as fast if the tires do not want to touch the ground. Just a general rule of thumb.
And that's just an interesting fact.
Yeah, cars don't go fast when the tires don't touch the ground, or when they're trying to come off the ground.
They make better cars than planes, I've heard.
Yeah, well, I mean we've had one driver try to put that to the test tonight.
He did. You know, they say all great physics discoveries have been made by experimentation. And boy, do we see an experiment tonight from Ray.
Ray Rittenhauer going full Cars 2 mode on us and sending it through the air. In all seriousness, it was a good avoid of all things that could have went wrong there. That was great driving by him.
In all reality, it was great driving, but also just really fun to watch. But like you said, Cars 2 moment, all he needs is the Owen Wilson voice and the tongue hanging out of the mouth. And it's just, we'd get in copyright trouble at that point. Once again, just while we are here on lap 45, just over halfway here in the Beastmode 200 here of the Group 6 Cup Series from Daytona International Speedway. Just a huge shout out to everyone who's decided to join us tonight. We appreciate it, and the drivers appreciate it. 23 concurrent viewers on the stream right now. Huge shout out to every single one of you that decided to tune in. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. Be sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the action. And continue to cheer on your favorite drivers in the comments, and we will continue to read them. But we appreciate it very much, as we're going to surely have a very exciting conclusion to this race. Again, shout out to Group 6 for being our series sponsor, and Team Beast Mode out there on the track, not having the night that they wanted right now. But do not count them out. But either way, huge shout out to them for being our race sponsor, along with Shoney's and Butt Kicker for being longtime supporters of the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series.
Yeah, if you saw the cars go gray there for just a second, Trading Paints did update, so we're going to see if we were successfully able to apply that to Justin McMahon's car out there, and we did. There is Justin McMahon's 24 Group 6 Cup Series car. Got some guys slowing down there.
Looks like we have some guys coming down pit road. And it's going to be Team BMP.
They're getting off of pit road there, I believe, and they are following. All 4 of them went together. That 34 Zach Michael also doing the same thing. And he's got those guys. There's 3 cars behind him, so he's not going to have to check up as much to let them catch back up. Those teams should be able to organically come back to the front, or come back to his bumper, I should say.
Wonder if they went and got tires as well on that stop, or if they just went and got gas. Look at the push that Andrew St. Cyr is giving to Zach Michael right now. These guys are trying to make up some time. It is not over till it's over, so says the Team BMP guys. They are 42 seconds behind the leaders after that last round of pit stops that they just made. Definitely in trouble of getting lapped if they cannot get it going here. But back toward the front of the pack here. Steven Bonomo still out in front of this thing, still your race leader. Chris Melton running in second, Eric Warman running third. Mike Leftwich in fourth, and Zachary Miller in fifth. Looks like Brandon Trush is going to drop out of line, and he's going to go ahead and bring it down all by himself.
Yeah, that looked like a fuel stop there for that Team BMP guys, plus Zach Michael. Looking at the times there, the number actually was not popping up because it was so soon, but it was a shorter stop than their last one where they did repair some damage and also take some tires there. Very interesting strategy with Brandon Trush pitting by himself.
Maybe Brandon knows something that we don't, or is just trying to kind of follow along with the strategy here. Just heard some other strategy moves over the radio. Shuffle of the positions with that last pack with Team BMP and Zach Michael. Zach Michael reporting that he had some damage, and so the rest of Team BMP is going to go around him so that they can hopefully move forward a little bit quicker. You're going to see them getting connected on there. That's going to be Justin McMahon, and that's going to be Kevin Thompson if they're able to latch on. Brandon Trush just getting off of pit road. Going to have to try to see if he can catch back up there with them to get back in the draft.
I don't know if he's going to be able to hook on.
He's got a long way to go, and those leaders are right behind him.
It makes me think that maybe he did not pit the first time, and that he was running out of fuel and had to pit by himself.
Well, that definitely could be. I would have to think that everyone else on the track is also going to need to pit again.
That's what it was. I'm pulling up the pit stop laps now. Brandon Trush ran 49 laps without taking a stop. We can try to shuffle back here to your leaders. As they are passing, Brandon Trush is going to put him a lap down there. Trush staying on the low side for him. Doesn't have much of a chance without getting in that draft. Last stop's on lap 33. I believe they'll be able to make it. The only person I'm worried about, and this is a strategy that comes into play here, is that lead car is going to be using a lot more gas, keeping his foot matted to the floor. The guys behind can kind of coast on about 80% to 90% throttle, especially on the back stretches, to kind of catch back up and not use as much fuel. So everybody behind Steven Bonomo has a lot more 5 laps of fuel more than Steven Bonomo would have.
It would be 47 laps under a green flag run. Steven Bonomo calling it out. He's coming down pit road. How long did you say Brandon Trush was out there under green flag?
He was out there for 49 laps. That did include about 3 cautions, possibly. It's like Joe McKnight's coming down with Steven Bonomo, so he might have some help there.
Joe McKnight going to take the opportunity to have a little bit of drafting help there. Good last lead for Steven Bonomo, but unsure if he was going to be able to make it. I have to imagine for Brandon Trush to give up the good position that he has, he must have been on fumes, and that was on lap 49. So being on, having to go 47 laps, potentially with no cautions, I don't know if that's a risk I would want to take, especially if I was in the lead.
And that might be why some of these guys are kind of staying back in this single file formation here. You don't want to be the leader right now. Definitely don't want to burn up so much gas that you have to. Just kind of save it just in case. Like I said, if you're out here leading, you're burning up more gas than everybody behind you.
So unless you are just incredibly confident that you have enough to make it till the end, there's really no reason to put your dukes up for the race lead right now. Then you absolutely have to. Currently going to have 20 cars out there on the lead lap. Closest to being in lap trouble is going to be Andrew St. Court, Nicholas Atwood, and Gary Clune, as well as Zach Michael, who's been able to stay on their bumper and prevent himself from going another lap down. Steve Bonomo also out there. He's going to be about 44 seconds off of the pace.
Yeah, we're watching that 15th place, 16th, 17th, and 18th place car on your track map there. You can see the first place car in blue just about to come into turn 3 now, so you can see about how close they are to getting lapped.
Joe McKnight in that 51 car who came down with Steven Bonomo. He's trying to latch on to the back of the Team BMP guys there, prevent himself from going a lap down. Brandon Trush going to be your first car a lap down. He is running up there with that lead pack. He was looking to the high side there. He's got Steven Bonomo coming in right there. Both of those guys going to be a lap down, and now Steven Bonomo going to be Brandon Trush's competition for the lucky dog if there is another caution here. With just 25 laps to go here in the Beastmode 200 at Daytona.
Yeah, two guys we haven't really talked about a lot tonight. Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich. The two Chris's from the Shoney's race team out here, sitting in 8th and 9th place, up 19 spots from where they started, looking to work together, trying to catch up with their other teammate, Mike Leftwich, who is currently sitting in P3 right now.
And if you are these guys out here, especially if you're running this leaded pack, you are keeping an eye on that fuel gauge like we just talked about. Most of these guys, we're considering at this point that your maximum on a fuel run has got to be somewhere between about 48 to 50 laps. Most of these guys, if the race ends and it stays green all the way through, are going to be up on anywhere from 47 to 48 laps of a green flag run. So you are definitely going to have to be keeping an eye on that gauge and making sure that you do not run it out of gas and don't have to bring it down pit road, because at this point it could be anybody's race. Nobody is out of it. Unlike, of course, the Atlanta Braves, who are currently down by 14 runs.
Figures.
For anyone at home to get in on the inside joke here, one of our good friends was going to this game at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia and wanted to know who we thought was going to be able to win. We said if the Atlanta Braves score 3 runs, they'll win. If they don't, they lose. We scored 4.
Doesn't help when the other team scores 14, but...
oh, no, they scored 18.
Oh, okay. 18. Yeah, I kind of like what Mike Leftwich is doing here. He's not pushing it too hard. He's just staying close enough in that draft to hold position, but not really pushing it to where he has to throttle up too hard to catch the back bumper of Warman. He can kind of sit in that draft, in that little draft bubble, and settle, saves a lot of gas mileage, and he's just waiting to the end to make his move here.
Yeah, plenty of time left for these guys. unlike the Atlanta Braves. Last time I'll do the joke, last time I'll do the joke. But for all these other guys, Chris Melton obviously leading the race at this point. He's going to be one of those guys that's really going to have to be watching that fuel gauge, especially as this race gets toward the end. If you're Eric Warman, you're Mike Leftwich, Zach Miller, Richard Leclerc, you are, as we like to kind of talk about, this is kind of the catbird seat where you want to be at Daytona. There's 19 laps to go. It's probably going to come down to a fuel run unless another caution comes out. So if you're these guys that are running anywhere from like second to, let's call it about 8th, Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich, one of those guys, 8th or 9th. This is exactly where you want to be. If you can dive out at any point and get a run, the only thing that can stop you right now is you have to make sure that you're in, just going back over and over again to the key points of the race. You've got to make sure that you're in sync with that guy behind you. The only time we've been able to see that high lane get work is when these guys are working perfectly as a team. When we have otherwise very good drivers trying to make something work on the high side, but they're not really working together or drafting as well as they need to be, you will not make time.
Like Steve Bonomo looked like he was going to jump it to the high side, but maybe just got a little bit too good of a run out of the corner. But we do have 19 to go. So while we rehydrate and take a second, we're going to turn up the volume and let you just enjoy race noise instead of us talking for a little bit.
Before you do that, Eric Warman just announced that he's pitting.
We will put that on hold for a second because this shakes things up. Eric Warman, Mike Leftwich, both bringing it down. Joshua Hart bringing it down with them as well. Chris Melton still out there, kind of hanging by himself. Going to have to really put that throttle down to maintain that speed out there. Again, it's going to be burning some gas. If I'm Chris Melton, I may let Zach Miller pass me.
Zach Miller wanted some help out there on the high side. He wanted Richard Leclerc and Adam Thompson to go with him. They left him out to dry. Zach Miller going to get shuffled all the way back to the back of that. Zach thought he had an opportunity there with Chris Melton out there all by himself. The other guys decided to keep it on the low side. Zachary Miller's already lost 6 positions off of this. Going to keep losing some more. Chris Melton, without a word, goes down pit road. New race leader. Richard Leclerc takes the race lead. Adam Thompson now in second. Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich, and Brandon Lopez make up the rest of your top 5. Fuel strategy making a huge difference here in the late going of this thing. 15 to go next time by.
Chris Simon and Chris Leftwich, both teammates, you know they're going to be working together pretty hard. Probably talking to each other when they're going to go, jump out, who's going to do it. Chris Leftwich is a really good driver that can get really aggressive there at the end and knows how to weave through some traffic, especially here at Daytona. He is somebody that I am watching out for. Also really like seeing Chris Simon up there. Been involved in 2 incidents tonight. Neither one his fault, just wrong place, wrong time, and now he's up here at the front. Again, won the preseason race here at Daytona. Looking to do it again for points.
I'm just wondering if these guys really think that they can make it on fuel. It seemed like most of the other drivers did not think they could. Or if they're just going to try to risk it and hold on till the very end.
And I just got a text from one of our correspondents out there saying that this front pack breaking up like this is giving Team BMP a chance to get right back in the running. And these guys are fast and they are hauling right now. They are on the lead lap, about 31 seconds behind. Needing a caution or needing to get going a little bit. I don't know if they can make up 31 seconds in that 15 laps, but
well, the thing is they've got quite a pack with them now. I mean, you've got Andrew St. Cour's leading that train. And then you've got Nicholas Atwood and Gary Clune right behind him. Zach Michael has been running well with those guys all night, along with Joe McKnight. We've got Joshua Hart in the mix with them as well, along with Mike Leftwich and Eric Warman.
It looks like Brandon Trush is going to be your first car a lap down, so he would get the lucky dog should a caution come out. One guy not wanting a caution right now, Richard Leclerc. Brandon Trush trying to get it back the hard way.
Yeah, Brandon Trush trying to get that lap back the hard way, using the side draft method that we talked about at the beginning of the race.
Steve Bonomo saw that happen and said, I'm going to try the same thing.
Now, Brandon Trush, all he did there was get his lap back the hard way. This race is still being led by Richard Leclerc. Adam Thompson is running in second place.
Jeez, you just saw how well that side draft works with Chris Leftwich right there.
Yeah, so the single side draft might have something in the tank for these drivers here toward the end of the race. If I'm an Adam Thompson, or I'm a Steven Bonomo, or I'm sorry, not Steven Bonomo. If I'm Adam Thompson, or I'm Brandon Lopez, or one of these guys that's right back there, I'm keeping that in my back pocket for later.
Yeah, Chris Leftwich on that high side with teammate Chris Simon going all the way to the front. They're going to put Brandon Trush in between them and Richard Leclerc. That's going to cause some separation there. Bonomo doing the same thing.
Going to try to catch on as well. They're all going to get their laps back the hard way. And if you're them, you love this spot, especially if you really do think that these lead guys don't have enough in the tank to make it. Are Chris Leftwich and Chris Simon on the same gas tank as Richard Leclerc and Adam Thompson?
Yes.
I would assume so, but
it looks like your top 10 right now all pitted on the same lap. This is going to get really interesting here.
That is going to be very interesting because you have guys up there, Steven Bonomo, Brandon Trush, who absolutely, without a doubt, can make it all the way to the very end. And you have a whole group of guys up there as well, still very, very fast, who, at the very least, are going to be running it on fumes.
Chris Simon with the steady hands right here behind the leader, Chris Leftwich, his teammate. And now Brandon Trush and Steve Bonomo, they are both fighting for that lucky dog spot. So it is pretty important for one of them to get in front of the other right now. This is kind of crazy right here. Adam Thompson still working right behind Richard Leclerc. I thought he would have made a move earlier to jump up with Bonomo and go to that high side with him, but stayed behind Richard Leclerc, going to keep pushing him along. Lopez looks like he might be saving some fuel there as well behind those guys. Kevin Hash sitting in 6th place. Ray Rittenauer, Rocket Man, jumping through the air tonight. Jumping all the way back up here to 7th place from that. Chris Simon looking to the outside to stick with his teammate. Chris Leftwich cutting off Leclerc.
They're going to jump back in. Steve Bonomo, Brandon Trush going to pull back out ahead. That is just to maintain their lead lap status. So we're going to be 9 laps to go with Christopher Simon leading this thing, followed by Christopher Leftwich. Richard Leclerc going to be in 3rd, and Adam Thompson in 4th. Once again, Steven Bonomo, Brandon Trush, we know without a doubt they can make it to the end of this race.
Here's
Most
the thing,
of these guys in the top 10.
I said it earlier on lap 15. I don't think that BMP team can make up 30 seconds on the leaders. Well, just in the past 6 laps, they have made up 11 seconds.
They have made up 11 seconds, and they are continuing to gain time. I mean, but at this point, they are still 19 seconds behind the race lead. They're working so well together that they have that second pack working perfectly in sync, all on the low side. But is 8 laps going to be enough to make up 19 seconds? I just don't think so.
Here's the thing, though. Once they get right to that next pack up, they're going to make up a little bit more speed and catch on with those guys and start going even faster up there. So if they can get just close enough, they might have a shot.
You never know. Either way, it is going to be a very exciting end to this race. 7 to go. B-Mac in the comments, well, moms, this does not appear to be the race that any of us hoped for. Unfortunately for the Group 6 Cup Series Doghouse Racing League mothers, I do not believe this was the race they had hoped for. Andrew St. Cyr still very much, we were just talking about it, could be in the running here. Just gained another second. That last lap by Team BMP running 11th, 12th, and 13th with Andrew St. Cyr, Nick Atwood, and Gary Clune. Still got 18 seconds to go, but still have some time to be able to make it happen. Brandon Trush, you see right there at the lead pack. Him and Steven Bonomo duking it out to try to maintain their lead lap status. They are praying that these leaders run out of gas here. And unfortunately for Jamie Horne, just got caught up in a bad shuffle earlier on. He's going to be a lap down and currently running in 23rd. He's going to be the last car, or the second to last car you see in that pack led by Team BMP right there. Another thing you have to consider, there's 5 to go at Daytona. If there's ever a time that people are going to start shuffling around and start trying to make something funny happen, it's now. You do see Chris Simon able to get a lot of separation, actually, from that 83 machine of Chris Leftwich. He's trying to sync up to the back bumper of Brandon Trush and running off of their draft, as opposed to being pushed by Chris Leftwich, which if they are running on fumes here is going to help Chris Simon a lot, actually.
Yeah, listen to, we're in the cockpit view right here with Chris Leftwich. You can kind of hear him easing off that throttle just a little. We'll go over to Andrew St. Cyr leading that other pack, or maybe even Nick Atwood behind him. You can hear the difference in the sound of the car. Yeah, big difference in the sounds of those cars are making right now. It sounds like they are trying to save some fuel up there at the front. This is going to give BMP just another opportunity to try to catch up here and make it to the front. But 4 to go, 17 seconds behind. It's a long shot for them. Chris Simon trying to hang on. And I wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, if Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich have allowed Brandon Trush and Steve Bonomo ahead of them, knowing that's not for position. But now they get to ride behind a little bit, ride that draft, and save a little bit more fuel.
That was one of the things that I was kind of thinking just a second ago, especially as you saw Chris Simon getting so close to that bumper of Brandon Trush. I wonder if they were trying to use any sort of opportunity that they could, trying to make sure that they could actually make it to the end here on gas. But we're going to find out here very shortly. Only 3 laps to go here. 2 to go next time they go by the line. Chris Simon's still going to be in the race lead. Chris Leftwich, Shoney's racing team, going to be 1 and 2 here. Richard Leclerc in 3rd place. Adam Thompson sitting 4th. Again, Chris Simon all the way to the bumpers of Steven Bonomo and Brandon Trush. Big head of steam out of Chris Leftwich, trying to sync back up. And here is where the fun is going to start. Here comes that 3rd lane trying to get started. Will they be able to work together and have anything to get going up there? Not looking like it just yet.
Oh, Brandon Lopez jumps to the outside. I don't think he was completely clear yet. Now he's got to get up in front of Kevin Hash.
I think he's going to make it. But are they still going to have anything for those race leaders? One lap to go. This time by Shoney's racing team. Running 1 and 2. Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich. Adam Thompson now goes to the outside. Richard Leclerc gets left out. Cars are spinning. Adam Thompson's around.
Brandon Lopez around. Chris Leftwich making the pass on Chris Simon. We missed it looking at the wreck there.
Chris Leftwich all the way to the bumper of Brandon Trush. He's trying to hold him off. Chris Simon trying to get synced back up to see if he can get back into the race lead. I think there's going to be too big of a gap. There's going to be a 1/10 of a second. Chris Leftwich, using the draft in front of him, is going to take the win. Here at the Beastmode 200, lets out a huge yell over the radio. What a win. Chris Leftwich brings it home. Christopher Simon going to be in second place. Adam Thompson going to finish third. Stephen Bonomo and Brandon Trush having a laugh, saying, I think those fireworks are for us, buddy. Really good determination by them, but Chris Leftwich, been waiting for it for a while. Shoney's racing team going to finish 1 and 2 there. Waiting on the celebration from Chris Leftwich after a well-deserved and well-earned victory.
Big bump from Dad there. I know Chris Leftwich just posted in their Discord, I think yesterday, the day before, he just received his trophy for the Truck Series, finishing second place in the Doghouse Truck Series. And Jamie Horne coming along too. I don't know if Chris Leftwich has the gas to get back to the front. Maybe he does, and maybe Dad's just messing with him there. Yeah, I don't think he has the gas. No, you can see him trying to throttle up there and nothing. Does Chris Simon have the gas? And there's your Shoney's team right there, posing down the front stretch. Taking it first and second tonight with the team owner, Mike Leftwich, finishing in 15th. Mike had a very good run there. I'm going to see if I can jump back to that ending one more time before we go to our interviews. This is coming around the white flag here. Chris Simon out there with the lead. Things start to shuffle up here as they get around the corner. What a move there by Chris Leftwich. Got the run, swept down to the inside, gets all over the bumper, the next guy up to draft in. What a fantastic move.
It's just really perfection. I know we missed some of that ending there. Tried to catch that wreck there, but I mean, Chris Leftwich used exactly the strategy that he needed to do to be able to get this thing done. And a 28, so from last to first, finish for Chris Leftwich. And I got to tell you, I haven't heard a celebration cheer like that over the radio in a long time.
Oh my goodness, that was a move and a half right there. Kind of faked the out. We got to break that down a little bit before we start talking to Chris about it. Chris Leftwich out here kind of faking to the outside a little bit. Sees that Chris Simon's kind of moving up the track a bit, and he's going to just sweep almost like a crossover. Get just underneath, keeping it right above that yellow line. That's a legal pass. And I know my accent gets in the way, but that is a legal pass. That was perfection.
Legal. It was absolutely perfect. Chris Leftwich letting the experience show right there, getting around another very experienced driver in Christopher Simon. But still, what a finish to that race. I mean, that's classic Daytona for you. That's why you tune in. You love to see it. Kathy Trush was agreeing with B-Mac from earlier, saying that 23 is her boy and that 98 was her second favorite. Unfortunate nights for them, but good to see Brandon Trush having a little bit of fun there at the end. Stephen Bonomo over the radio. B-Mac saying congrats to the winners. Great broadcast, Hunter and Jonathan. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And Kathy Trush also saying awesome race and exciting broadcast. It was an awesome race, and we appreciate the compliment.
Let's see if we can get some of these drivers up here to the booth. I've got to figure out what happened there. Want to definitely figure out what happened with Adam Thompson as well. As we pull Adam up. Adam, you got a copy with us in the booth?
What's up, boys?
What is going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Good to be
Thank
having
you.
a third place finish there.
Yeah, that was crazy. I almost didn't get third.
I was actually very surprised because we cut to you and saw you turn around, and then there was a big run at the lead, and I went back, and you're crossing the line for third there. So tell us about what happened there on that last lap.
Yeah, well, so to back up, sometimes you have bad luck and you get wrecked, and I got in a few of them at the beginning of the race, but that actually saved me because I ended up, the last time I got wrecked, I didn't think I had damage, but I wanted to check. I came down, no damage, threw on tires, topped off, and that saved me, topping off when I did, or I would have never made it to the end. So I was actually lucky I got wrecked. And then, yeah, last lap, well, I don't know, the last probably 25, 30 laps, I was just staying in line, trying to run 3/4 throttle because I was 0.9 to the good just for like 30 laps. And I'm like, I got to save that so I can make a run on the last lap. So yeah, we crossed the start finish for the last lap, and I was gonna just give her heck, but I got ran over in 3 and 4 and put me into the wall. I actually broke the front right wheel. I didn't know if I was even gonna be able to make it back around to finish. I think when I crossed to take the checker, I was doing like 160 miles an hour. It was beat up bad, but hey, it works out. I'll take a top 3 any day.
Absolutely. I also want to ask you a little bit about some strategy there as you had going on. We saw you behind Richard Leclerc for a little bit. Chris Simon, Chris Leftwich went high. Steve Bonomo followed. Was there any thought to go high with them, or were you content staying where you're at and saving some fuel?
I mean, dude, trust me, I wanted to go, but it was so close. And like I told you, well, I don't know if I told you, but once we took the checkered flag, I went back around maybe half a lap and ran out. Like, that's how close it was. So when those guys went on the outside earlier, I'm like, I'm not following them. I've got to just stay and save, and we'll try to make it work on the last lap. And I think we would have if I wouldn't have got run over, because there was the guy that ran over me. He and I would have definitely given them a run for their money at the end, but we got wrecked. So, but yeah, the strategy just ended up being save.
Yeah, definitely in the catbird seat, as Hunter would call it, to try to take the win there. But I believe you are going to the playoffs. I got you right here in 9th place. I don't know if this was updated yet. I know Jamie does a really good job, and Daniel updating this pretty quickly. I might be a little bit too quick for him tonight, but got you in 9th place still going into the playoffs. You'll probably move up a little bit. They haven't updated, and we're going to Darlington. Last time we were there, you know what happened at Darlington.
God, remind me, I don't.
Adam Thompson.
Did I die?
No, driving it to the front and taking the win there.
Oh, let's go. All right. Well, that's interesting because I suck at Darlington. So we'll see. Hopefully it works out the same way.
Absolutely. Well, before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, just shout out to you boys. Your broadcast is always top notch, and we appreciate it. Shout out to Doghouse and Ryko for the sets, and I want to give my wife a shout out. I took her to a concert about a week and a half ago, and man, we were jamming, having the time of our life, and then she had a seizure, which I've never seen in my life with her. I mean, as a medic and a cop, I've dealt with that a million times, but not with my own wife. And man, she was turning blue on me. I was holding her. I thought I was going to lose her. I mean, it was so bad, and she was so blue that I was checking for her pulse. I thought I was going to be doing CPR on her. We were front row, and I couldn't get medics. I'm like, I don't even need a medic. Just bring me a medic bag. I can get to work. And they weren't coming. And so I went a little nuts and kicked the fence down and was going to drag her back behind stage. And as I got her out, the medics were finally showing up. And long story short, we got her fixed up. She's doing good, but she took about 10 years off my life the other night. So glad she's doing well. And thanks again, boys. It's good to talk to you again. How you guys doing? All right?
Doing pretty good, man. I mean, that's crazy. I hate to hear it. Definitely keeping our thoughts and prayers and everything, but definitely understand. Seen it, myself seen it 1,000 times, and when it happens to somebody you act a little different or respond a little different. The gears start going a little different there,
Yeah, well, you were able to joke later, but she's like, you've saved all these lives for 25 years. I just wanted to see if you'd save mine.
Yeah, putting you to the test there, but.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go. I know you guys got more to do, but thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, be good.
Take care.
It's going to be Adam Thompson finishing third place tonight. And in Adam Thompson fashion, giving a fantastic interview and topping off with a story there to end it, man. That's
definitely keep his wife in our thoughts and prayers as well. Michelle and Miguel as well in the comments, giving a big shout out to our next interview. Their son, Christopher Simon, on the podium.
Yeah, we have Christopher Simon coming up to the booth right now, actually. As I drag him up here. Chris, you got a copy of this in the booth?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, hey, man, congratulations. P2 tonight. Last time we were here at Daytona, well, not last time, but the first race of the season, really, the preseason. You took the win here. It looked like you were going to do it again tonight. Tell us about that run there at the end with your teammate, Chris Leftwich.
Man, it was intense. Like, I was saving fuel, like, all the way at the final laps there with Chris and the previous cars in the back and all. It's like, I see these cars pitting in and as well, and they weren't likely to make it on fuel, but I saw in my overlay that I'm able to make it on fuel, but just barely. And then I just kept going, and I see the two lap cars ahead of me, and then we decided to like swap positions to see if we can say each of us can save fuel. But it looks like Chris couldn't save enough fuel leading, so we decided to strategize and just try to switch places behind the two lap cars, and we were just saving till the end, and then we decided to battle at the end.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. We talked about it. Brandon Trush and Steve Bonomo lap down. You guys, like, you pulled off to the side and let them through, and we were assuming that was for a fuel decision, correct?
Yes.
So coming down to the checkered flag there, about how much fuel did you have left in that car?
I barely made it to the finish line. I had it was already empty by the time I got there. I couldn't make it. I started clutching it. I was about 140, 180, clutching it in. I was trying to make it back to all the way around to the start finish line, but yeah, I was clutching it in when I crossed the finish line.
Wow. Well, I have you in 7th place in the points, and I believe this is the updated points now, I think. 7th place in the points to end the season off. A fantastic season for you. Really good. And we're going to Darlington next, not next week, but the week after to start the playoffs. Tell us your thoughts on Darlington and what you're looking to do in the playoffs here.
I think Darlington is a little tricky track for me, but it's not one of my worst tracks. So I'm feeling pretty confident to get a good finish there. Just practice with the team and see how we do. Just getting get that tire wear down as well because I think that's a pretty heavy tire track. So I'll be sure to work on that for the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely, man. Well, before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you would like to give?
Of course, I need a shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Always fun to watch them after the race. Shout out to Daniel and the league admins. He always put on a good show, for every week. Shout out to my teammates, of course. Mike Leftwich, Chris Leftwich for the win there. Happy to help him out to get that win. And shout out to my family, always to my family, because they always watch every day on Thursdays and Tuesdays, and they're watching right now. So shout out to them. And yeah, that's about it.
I was gonna say we got Miguel and Michelle in the comments going crazy right now. Very happy for their son.
Yep, that's my mom and dad. Yep, so they must be really happy with my finish here.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations again on finishing P2 tonight. Looking forward to hearing from you more here in the playoffs coming up.
Yep,
All right,
definitely.
man. Have a good night.
You too.
That's going to be Chris Simon finishing second place. Definitely another one of the league favorites. I think there's a few people in this group, in this Doghouse Racing League, you would consider kind of untouchables. You know, you don't mess with them, don't rough them up. You know, favorites within the league, favorites out without the league or out of the league. But Chris Simon definitely top of that list. Nice, just the nicest guy you've ever talked to.
100%.
Always race me extremely clean too, so I appreciate him for that. But coming up next, we do have your first place winner tonight. That is going to be Chris Leftwich, also part of that Shoney's race team. Let's see if we can pull Chris up here. Chris, you got a copy of this in the booth?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Hey, man, congratulations picking up the win here on the season finale at Daytona. It was an incredible run. I hate to tell you, we did not catch the pass there for the finish in live time, but went back and watched it, and I'm amazed. I'm very impressed. Talk to us about that run there at the end.
Oh, it was all about saving fuel, that's for sure. I knew I went up, me and my teammate went up and took the lead with like 20 to go or something like that, and then I realized I was still a lap short after I took the lead, and I was just gonna burn more fuel at that point with leading the race. So I saw the lap cars come up on the I side, and they were going way faster than us. I was like, okay, we'll just let them slide in, and I had Simon slide in front of me, and then I drafted off him for the rest of the remainder of the race, and then he told me he was about to run out of fuel, and so and I saw an opportunity, and he said, "Oh," and then I knew my dad was in about mid pack racing, and he said there was a wreck, and I hurry up, jumped out and went past him. So it worked out pretty good. And then as soon as I crossed start finish line, the thing sputtered and died.
Yeah, we were looking for the burnout and saw Mike Leftwich out there pushing you there. Not sure if you had any gas left in the tank. Also rode along with you on board for a little bit there to listen to how your car was sounding if you were giving a lot of throttle. About when did you realize you may or may not make it?
It was about 30 to go. I started just pacing myself, and I was running about half throttle, 3/4 throttle. Sometimes I'd run wide open down into the turns, but down the backstretch, straight lines, I was running about half throttle. And then I realized something. There was a few times where I realized I was starting to lose a draft in front of me that I had to get on it and catch back up. But the car setup I had ran pretty good. It really sucked up good, and I didn't get a practice with it or nothing. That was the first time I ever drove it right there. So I'm gonna have to save that one for later.
Absolutely. Well, the thing that I really want to go back to, I always ask about your thoughts on the next race, but I got to go back to this pass, man. I'm going to show it here on the broadcast, kind of in a slow motion here if I can. Hit the right buttons in time. It was almost like you faked to the outside behind your teammate and then did a crossover right there at the bottom of the exit to take the lead. Was that a plan to do that? Or was it just kind of you saw Chris wash up a little bit? Talk to us about that pass.
Off turn 2, and he said that he was starting to run out of fuel or something, and I started to go to the outside because I know if I went wide open, because at that point I knew I had enough momentum to go past him. So I started to move up high, and then I noticed he was starting to come up too, and I just turned hard left and went right underneath of him, and then I tried to line up behind the lap cars and still save us all the way to the end there because I wasn't for sure if I was even going to make it that far. But I never once heard my spotter or anything say I was low on fuel or anything. But as soon as I started cross start finish line, it ran out of gas for sure.
Wow. Yeah, man, that was a fantastic move. Definitely one of the highlights, probably of the season, one of the better passes of the season, especially to take the win. But going to Darlington next week, a little bit different passing situations there. Well, not next week, but the week after. Give us your thoughts on Darlington and what you look to bring to the playoffs.
Oh, I look forward to Darlington. That's actually one of my favorite tracks. I'm not really that good there. It's just, man, it's just trying to stay out of that wall and save your tires, which I've been struggling with all year. Actually, ever since I joined the league, and I've been trying to work the bugs out of this wheel and everything. I've actually swapped wheels. I've done everything. I swapped pedals, reconfigured all kinds of stuff. But hopefully, I got her figured out, and hopefully, I can do something with these playoffs. I'd like to at least finish in the top 3 in the championship. At least that'd be a good end to the season.
Yeah, I saw you got your trophy for second place in the truck series.
Yeah, yeah. That was actually astonished. I even finished that high in that series. I was pretty proud of myself on that one. I wasn't expecting that at all. But actually, my dad's the one that told me. He's like, "Hey, you're second." I went, "What?" He went, "Yeah, you're second." What? No way. He said, "Yeah, go out there and just maintain and go." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But I ended up. I don't even think I finished the race that last season finale. I don't even think I did. I ended up getting wrecked or something happened. I can't remember. But yeah, but I still finished second though.
Yeah, man. Well, congratulations on picking up the win tonight, getting second place there in the truck series. Before I let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to my teammates Simon and my dad for sponsoring the league, of course, and helping out a lot with that. And also, I'll get a lot of my setup from a friend of mine, Jonathan Jennings. There, he helps me out a lot. He's like behind the scenes, kind of a crew chief kind of deal. So I really appreciate his help, and he's been helping us out throughout the year and everything. And also, I'd like to thank Daniel. He puts on one hell of a show, and you guys do too. And I appreciate everything y'all do, man.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you, man. And congratulations again tonight on this win. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks at Darlington.
Hey, all right, buddy. You race anytime soon?
I think I'm just stuck to Tuesday nights for now, and I kind of blew up my chances last Tuesday night. So, with that terrible fuel strategy that I thought, just whenever I try to do math, it doesn't work out. So that's what happened there.
Numbers.
Yeah, they're tough, man, especially once you get past 8 and 9.
Yeah, I just kept flipping through my fuel page on there. I just kept going back and forth. I think I wore these buttons out. I just kept going back and forth, looking at laps, looking at the fuel, looking at laps. I was like, oh man, because I don't have an overlay stuff or anything, so I just do it, by buttons. And I'm just like, oh man, I don't know. I was sweating bullets. I really was. It was nerve wracking.
Well, the problem is I have overlays and I still mess up. So you're a lot better than I'm doing there. So.
Yeah, I've got ADHD, so if I the little smallest thing goes, oh look, squirrel, so
Well, yeah, man. Well,
but
congrats again. Just wanted to jump in here and say congrats, and glad you got to pick up a win for the Shoney's team. And Shoney's been a big sponsor for the league for a while. It's cool to see the Shoney's bring it across the stripe tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad to get them a win, man. They've been a sponsor of mine since I stepped into this league and everything, and they actually, I talked them into this, and I just hope they don't regret it. So,
well, tonight definitely should help.
All right. Well, hey, y'all have a good evening. I'm gonna hop off here and go get some food.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Have a good night.
All right, you too, guys.
It's going to be Chris Leftwich finishing tonight in first place, picking up the win here in the season finale at Daytona. What a run. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking about too much, but that was a move there at the end. Very clean. Really good move. I respect the move. It was fantastic, and we say it all the time on our TikTok live and YouTube and stuff. If we're teammates until the white flag or until Jesus comes back, whichever comes first.
But, yep. And I didn't hear any trumpet sound. So
yeah, the white flag came first, so no longer teammates on that last lap.
Yeah, just a great move. I mean, all class of the Shoney's racing team. Really cool to hear how they're working together so well as a team there at the end. Really cool. Like you said, Shoney's longtime sponsor of the league. So cool to see them bring it across the stripe. It was really cool. I know we've talked about before that I can hear the team radios while the race is going on. We don't usually play that over the actual broadcast, just in case anyone decides to use some of those PG-13 words. But Chris, when he came across the stripe, and he talked about it, he'd been sweating bullets, and we wasn't sure he was going to make it on gas. There's a lot of strategy involved. Then he crosses the stripe and wins the race. I mean, he just full throat yell, and it was just cool to hear, man. And also congrats to Adam Thompson. I know he's been out the last couple of weeks, and golly, I had no idea that him and his family were going through something like that, and to be able to get back out here, get a third place win or a third place finish at a really tough race, lots of stuff going on there at the end, and he was still able to pull it out. And again, just want to say from all of us over here at both Nap Daddy Racing in the booth and Doghouse Racing League Group 6 Cup Series that we're going to be thinking about and praying for Adam and his wife, and hopefully that won't be a situation they have to deal with again.
Absolutely, man. But before we get out of here, why don't you tell us about our sponsors really quick, and then we'll do the results.
I think I can manage that. But again, been talking about sponsors a lot. Sponsors are what keep this thing going around, both us up here in the booth and these drivers out on the track. So again, just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. Once again, this is the Group 6 Cup Series. Group 6 is a leading creative agency, and they're passionate about crafting cutting-edge websites, developing dynamic web solutions, and providing top-tier managed hosting services. Their mission is to help businesses of all sizes enhance our online presence. Be sure to explore their wide range of services at group6inc.com and see how they can drive your digital success. Once again, big shout out to Group 6 for being our series sponsor this year. You can find that on the car of our very own number 24, Justin McMahon. Again, want to give a big shout out as well to our race sponsor here tonight. That is Team Beastmode Performance. If you want to catch Team Beastmode, some of your favorite drivers here in the Doghouse Racing League and the Group 6 Cup Series, be sure that you tune in every single Thursday night here on Doghouse Racing TV so you don't miss any of their action out here on the track. Some of your very favorite drivers: Kevin Thompson, Nick Atwood, Gary Clune, Andrew St. Court, and unable to join us tonight, but still very much part of the team, Mr. Adam Gardner. Always put on a show, had a very, very strong end of the season. If it wasn't for some yellow flags tonight, would have definitely expected to see them up toward the top of the finishing board here. Again, shout out to Beast Mode for stepping up and being a race sponsor here tonight. We are also very proud in the Doghouse Racing League to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations, try the freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. And you can catch the Shoney's logo on our first and second place finishers tonight in Chris Leftwich and Chris Simon. And then Mr. Mike Leftwich as well ended up finishing 15th tonight. We're also very proud in the Doghouse Racing League in the Group 6 Cup Series to be sponsored by Butt Kicker. If you want the very best in racing simulator haptics, be sure you head on over to their website. That's thebuttkicker.com and pick yourself up something today. You will not be sorry, and you will be helping to support the Group 6 Cup Series and the Doghouse Racing League. Be sure you check out our friends at Butt Kicker today. And then shameless self-promotion that we always get to do at the end of the race. Up here in the booth, you heard us introduce ourselves lots of times over the season, but my name is Hunter, and my broadcast partner up here is Jonathan Smith. We are not just broadcasters up here. John started Nap Daddy Racing in 2024, originally an iRacing design shop. We have expanded to try to be your one-stop shop for any and all of your iRacing needs. Check out the website at napdaddyracing.com, KNAPPDADDYRACING.com for all of your custom design, template, or logo needs for your iRacing car. And be sure you check out some of the free content that is available on the website as well. And even if you're not into iRacing yourself, you can grab a t-shirt or a hat and help support the brand. You can check us out here on Doghouse Racing TV every single Thursday night, not next Thursday night, but the Thursday after that. Up here in the broadcast booth, you can catch us on our own channel, Nap Daddy Racing, on Monday nights for the upcoming Nap Daddy Racing League coming up on 9/8, and live on TikTok as often as we can, depending on how much homework John has or how sleepy as I am. Either way, we are very proud to be a part of the Doghouse Racing League. John for racing in it, and me to just be up here, be able to jabber about racing. So thank you to the Doghouse Racing League. Thank you to the Group 6 Cup Series for helping make Nap Daddy Racing what it is. And what a race it was tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was on mute for a second there, trying not to breathe all over the mic. But yeah, a fantastic race, and I'm going to pull up that results for you right now, actually, as we're about to get ready to shut it down tonight here in Daytona. You can see this is not the right thing. These are definitely the qualifying results, but going to the race results tonight, Chris Leftwich taking it home in first place. Chris Simon, teammate, bringing it home in second place after a great, fantastic run. Been wrecked twice tonight and also just able to bring it back and park that thing in second place behind his teammate. So great run for the Shoney's team tonight. Adam Thompson finishing third place tonight, going to Darlington next. That's where he last won at earlier this season. Kevin Hash, newcomer, out there in fourth place. I think he's only got 2 or 3 races under his belt with Doghouse Racing now, but definitely making a name for himself out here. Got Zach Miller coming in 5th place. Ray Rittenauer, our Mr. Airborne, Oliver and Wilbur Wright himself, finishing in 6th place. Andrew St. Cour bringing it back to 7th place with his teammates Nick Atwood and Gary Clune in 8th and 9th. Zach Michael finishing 10th. Joe McKnight going to finish it up in 11th. Chris Melton 12th. We saw him lead a lot of laps tonight. Joshua Hart in 13th. We got Eric Warman 14th. Mike Leftwich in 15th. Steve Bonomo also led a lot of laps. And Brandon Trush led some laps there, 16th and 17th, and Rich LeHurt in 18th. But as far as that goes, man, what a race.
What a race, man. Just really incredible.
Yeah, we will not be back here next week. We're taking off for the holidays. These drivers need a much needed break, and I think some other people need a much needed break too. From
me.
Yeah, that's who I was referencing specifically. So we're gonna give Hunter a night off, let him recharge his batteries, get some water in him, some hydration in him, and get him back out here for Darlington to call this race. It's gonna be not this coming up Thursday, but the Thursday after that on September 11th. Making sure I got that date right before I told you wrong. September 11th at 7:45 here on Doghouse Racing TV, heading to Darlington for the North American Specialized 250s. But big shout out to Brandon Trush for helping us out with that sponsorship there and helping the league out. But if you also want to catch some more racing action, you can check out Tuesday Night ARCA Series for the Doghouse Racing League. That is going to be on Intensity Broadcasting. They will be racing on Tuesday night, and that's going to start at 7:45 on Intensity Broadcasting. Going to be a good time. Only 4 races left in the season. Good little points battle over there. These cars are pretty fun to drive around once you start getting used to them a little bit, but you can check out some more racing action over there. But yeah, if not, thanks for hanging out with us on Thursday night. Be sure to join us next time when we come out here, not next week, but the week after. And other than that, that's going to be just about it for us here tonight. So for the last time, I've been John.
Hunter.
And we will see you guys in 2 weeks for the playoffs.
We're ready. It's going to be fun. Take care, everybody. Thompson and St. Cour side by side, racing it out. Who has the faster car to finish this thing? St. Cor is going to bring it home in first. What a race at the end of that thing. Caution, caution, caution. Come around the corner. Jamie Horne is going to be your winner here at the Mars Properties 200.